At dahil recorded na ng ating reporting, dapat masigla tayo magsalita. And to introduce our topic, we are the Team Kian. Our topic is monetary operations and loans and credit operations. And our overview of our topic from 1 to number 7 topic or subtopics. Hello, greetings from the reporters. We are the reporters for today. Ayan, diba? Magaganda at gwapo, diba? Saan pa kayo? FM3D yan. So, quotation of the day by Alice Rivlin. The job of the central bank is to worry. Kaya, sige, go. So, let's proceed to our next topic.
Good morning, I am Mikaela, Alexica Pidot, and my topic is about the overnight reverse repurchase facility of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. First of all, let's talk about government securities. Government securities are government debt issuances used to fund daily operations and special infrastructures and military projects. These securities are issued by the Republic through a fiscal agent, which is the Bureau of Treasury, and the DBP as the seller agent. There are two kinds of government securities, namely Treasury bills and Treasury bonds. Now, in a repurchase transaction or repo, the BSP buys government securities from a bank with a commitment to sell them back at a specific future date at a predetermined rate, resulting in an expansionary effect on liquidity. Conversely, in a reverse repurchase transaction or reverse repo, the BSP also acts as the seller of the government securities, and the bank's payment to the BSP has a contractionary effect on liquidity. In a repo transaction, si BSP ay bibili ng government securities sa isang bangko, pero hindi magtatagal sa kanya yon dahil ibebenta din niya sa specific na date on a higher price naman. Sa reverse repo, dito na ibebenta na yung BSP ang government securities na hawak niya sa mga bangko with higher price. The existing RRP facility is an overnight facility, meaning ang transaction ay mabilisan lang. Mangyayari lang ito overnight. And will be offered using a fixed rate and full allotment method where individual bidders are awarded a portion of their total offer depending on their bid size. Fixed rate full allotment method will help ensure that the overnight rate sits close to the BSP policy rate. This table represents the BSP guideline for the overnight facility. The repo and reverse repo transactions operates every day, 5 days a week. The maturity of transaction is overnight. The auction type is fixed rate and full allotment method. Auction size will be based on BSP liquidity forecast. The auction size is announced on the same day. Magbubukas ang auction at 2 p.m. but participants can start submitting their bids at 1:30 p.m. 30 minutes lang magtatagal ang auction, and 80 banks na nasa existing set ang eligible para magbid. The type of allocation is pro rata based on bid size. Proportional kung magkano ang bid, yon ang distribution or allocation. The minimum bid is 10 million pesos and minimum naman ay 20% ng auction size, which is yung BSP liquidity forecast na ina-announce sa same day. Minimum of isang bid lang, and same day ang announcement of results. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Magandang buhay, I'm John Patrick Z. Pajela, and we will be watching a YouTube video about issuance of BSP securities uploaded by Bangko Sentral on July 17, 2020. But before we watch this YouTube video, I want you to remember these questions. First, what is BSP securities? A second one is, what are the key features of BSP securities? The third one is, how will BSP issue the BSP securities? And now, kung natandaan nyo na yun, let's proceed to the YouTube video.
Under Republic Act No. 7653 as amended by RA No. 11211 in February 2019, the BSP's authority to issue negotiable securities for open market operations was restored. Benefits of BSP securities. The issuance of the BSP securities provides us an additional monetary tool for liquidity management under the interest rate corridor system that is more flexible and market-friendly. Moreover, the BSP securities will support the development of the domestic bond market. What are the key features of the BSP securities? Both BSP bills and BSP bonds will be offered, with the BSP bills to be offered at the onset. Market preferences and prevailing liquidity conditions will be considered in deciding on the tenors of BSP securities to offer. Close coordination with the Bureau of the Treasury or BTR will also ensure that the tenors of BSP securities are consistent and meet the market's demand. Initially, the BSP securities will be offered to our existing counterparties in the term deposit facility, specifically universal and commercial banks, thrift banks, and non-banks with quasi-banking functions. Going forward, a broader participation may be considered to increase monetary policy efficiency. The issuance shall be done via auction. The BSP will pre-announce the auction schedule to facilitate planning by market participants. The tenor and volume of issuance will be based on liquidity forecasts and market conditions. How will we issue the BSP securities? First, the auction of BSP securities will be conducted using the BSP's Monetary Operations System or MOS. Second, through the MOS, the BSP's Open Market Operations Auction Subcommittee will determine the allotment of securities. Third, the National Registry of Scriptless Securities or NROS of the BTR shall serve as the registry of successfully awarded BSP securities. And fourth, the secondary market trading of BSP securities will be done on the trading platform for the Philippine Dealing and Exchange Corporation. The linking of the BSP's MOS and the BTR's NROS is an important step toward the issuance of negotiable BSP securities. The MOS-NROS linkage will facilitate the seamless process of the auction of BSP securities and the registry and recording of these securities to enable primary market issuance and secondary market trading. The issuance of BSP securities is expected to strengthen the transmission of our monetary policy stance to the rest of the economy. It is a major step toward fulfilling our commitment to promote and maintain price stability for the benefit of all Filipinos.
And thank you guys. Sana po nakuha nyo yung message, and I hope you understand what is BSP securities. You can also watch this YouTube video on this link.
Term deposit facility. From the word term deposit, ang tinutukoy nito ay ang maturity date ng iyong dineposito. At ang deposit facility naman is a place where financial institution can make overnight cash deposits for a risk-free but extremely low rate of interest. Term deposit facility. Key liquidity absorption facility commonly used by CBs for liquidity management due to the BSP's inability to issue its own debt instrument except in cases of extraordinary movement in price level. So, sa madaling salita, si BSP ginagamit niya si term deposit facility as a tool to simply help and manage the aggregate quantity of reserve balances held by depository institution. Under sa Republic Act 7653, the TDF is tasked to withdraw a large part of the structural liquidity surplus from the financial system to bring market rates closer to the BSP policy. So, sa madaling salita, ang primary objective ni BSP is to maintain price stability conducive to a balanced and sustainable growth of the economy. Papasok rin dito yung mga features ni TDF. Ano nga ba yung mga features ni Term Deposit Facility? Una, yung frequency. Gaano kadalas? Base sa na-research ko, once a week. Tapos yung auction type naman, nag-offer sila ng variable rate tender at multiple price tender. Sa may settlement, same day, kung kailan mo i-deposit. At yung maturity, nag-offer sila ng tatlo, 7 days, 14 days, at saka 28 days. Kapag sinabi nating structural liquidity, it simply pertains to the level of reserves in the banking system. Ano nga ba yung bank reserves? Pag sinabi nating bank reserves, maapektuhan nito yung money supply ng bansa. Kapag mas maraming reserves, madaling magpautang ang bawat bangko. It is simply the sum of money.
Good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, classmates. I am Nicole Balangue, and my topic is all about the standing liquidity facilities. Standing liquidity facilities. The BSP offers standing liquidity, lending, and deposit windows to provide or absorb liquidity at the initiative of the counterparty. So, itong standing liquidity facilities na to is one of the short-term monetary policy tools na ginagamit ni BSP para ma-manage niya ng maayos yung liquidity sa financial system. And in-offer siya ni BSP sa mga counterparties niya for two reasons. Una is to provide liquidity, and yung pangalawa is to absorb liquidity. So, under the standing liquidity facility, we have the overnight deposit facility and overnight lending facility. Kapag sinabing overnight deposit facility, ang sabi dito is, the standing overnight deposit facility will observe any residual system liquidity to prevent market interest rates from falling below the corridor. So, dito sa overnight deposit facility is pinapayagan ni BSP yung mga banks na i-deposit sa kanya yung mga excess funds na kinat ni BSP. And dito sa overnight deposit facility is nagkakaroon siya ng contractionary effect. Meaning, gusto ni BSP na bawasan yung pera na nag-flow sa sistema ng bansa. And yung reason ni BSP kaya binabawasan niya yung pera na nag-flow sa financial system is para makatulong sa pagbawas or pagbaba ng presyo. Kasi kapag maraming pera sa financial system or sa sistema ng bansa, ibig sabihin mataas din yung inflation. And yun yung main reason ni BSP kung bakit ginagamit niya yung tool na to, para maiwasan or mabawasan yung presyo ng bilihin. And the second one is the overnight lending facility. The standing overnight lending facility provides collateralized overnight funding to BSP counterparties to clear end-of-the-day imbalances. Kung sa overnight deposit facility is ina-absorb niya yung liquidity, and nagkakaroon siya ng contractionary effect, dito naman sa overnight lending facility is nagpo-provide siya ng liquidity. Ibig sabihin, dinadagdagan niya yung pera na nagpo-flow sa economy. And ang tawag doon is expansionary effect. And ito naman is, yung ginagawa dito is nagpapautang si BSP sa mga counterparties niya like banks or businesses at a very low interest rates. Ibig sabihin, kapag binaba ni BSP yung rates niya, ina-encourage niya yung mga businesses na mangutang sa kanya. And yung pera na ipautang ni BSP sa mga banks is eventually mapupunta yan sa mga tao. That's why Kapag maraming pera yung mga tao, syempre gagastos sila. And kapag gumastos sila, kikita yung mga businesses. And yun yung gusto ni BSP. Gusto niyang i-boost yung earnings ng mga businesses. Kaya ginagamit niya yung tools na to. So, sana is nakita niyo yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa. Kapag sa overnight deposit facility, nagkakaroon siya ng contractionary effect. While dito sa overnight lending facility is nagkakaroon siya ng expansionary effect. So, yun lang.
So, magandang buhay. Ako nga po pala si John Patrick. At ang report natin or ang topic po natin ngayon ay rediscounting. So, let's proceed. What is rediscounting? Rediscounting is a privilege of qualified Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas supervised banks that have approved an active rediscounting line with the BSP to obtain loans or advances from BSP using the eligible papers of its end user borrowers or EUB as collaterals. It is a standing credit facility to help banks meet temporary liquidity needs by refinancing the loans they extend to their clients. So, how does rediscounting cycle go? A bank extends loans to end-user borrowers who execute credit instruments, which is promissory notes or PNs, drafts, or bills of exchange in favor of the bank. The bank rediscounts the credit instruments of its end-user borrowers by endorsing the same in favor of the BSP. The BSP in turn lends the bank an amount equivalent to certain percentage of the face amount or outstanding balance of the end-user borrowers. Credit information or credit instrument. So, for example, ang mga bangko, they will enhance the liquidity pero halimbawa nga, maraming umutang sa kanila. Tapos mas maraming umutang ngayon compare sa mga nag-save. Tapos yung mga nag-save, they are now, they want to get the money na sinave nila. So that's liquidity. They want to get the money anytime and anywhere they want. Now, kapag naubusan ng fund ang mga bangko or ang bangko, they can do rediscounting. What is that? What is rediscounting? They can have loans or advances sa BSP para sa mga hiniram nila or hiniram pala sa kanila. Yung mga iniloan sa kanila, yun ang magiging collateral nila. So kapag nabayaran na itong loan na namin na ito or loan na nila na ito, we can now pay them or pay you. Kaya na-stabilize ng BSP yung presyo within our market or even kasama na rin yung mga prices in the banks. So, the third one, what is the role of rediscounting in our monetary system? According to Section 81 of the Republic Act number 7653 as amended by RA number 211, otherwise known as the New Central Bank Act, states that the discounts, loans, and advances which BSP is authorized to extend to banking institutions shall be used to influence the volume of credit consistent with its objective of price stability and maintenance of financial stability. The BSP may extend three types of credit operations to banking institutions, namely normal credit operations, which is the BSP rediscounting facility through the electronic rediscounting system or ERS, special credit operations, and emergency credit operations. As a matter of policy of the BSP, the lender of last resort or LOLR principle shall apply to all three credit operations. And yun lamang po ang aking report. Maraming salamat.
Good day, I'm Angela Dayrit. My topic is all about overdraft credit line. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has issued a policy measure providing cover to the central bank for overdraft credit lines being converted into emergency loans for troubled banks. The Monetary Board of the BSP approved the policy guidelines governing the handling of overdraft of banks in their demand deposit accounts with the central bank. These guidelines allow banks in participating the clearing operations of the Philippine Clearing House Corporation to apply for an overdraft credit line. In overdraft, if you have a current account, your bank may agree to let you use an extra amount of money when you have no money in your account. Before you use an overdraft, you should apply to your bank to make an overdraft available on your current account. If the bank decides that you will be able to repay your overdraft, it will give you an option. It's either a short-term or long-term basis. The overdraft allows the account holder to continue withdrawing money even when the account has no funds or has insufficient funds to cover the amount of the withdrawal. So basically, if the bank allows the customers to borrow a set amount of money, there is interest on the loan. The interest on an overdraft can be high, but you only pay the interest on the amount you use. But don't forget that there will be a limit to the amount of the overdraft. That is why the BSP imposed a ceiling amount of overdraft a bank may incur due to failure to cover clearing losses. The BSP defined the ceiling as the sum of clean overdraft credit line equivalent to 15% of the bank's discounting line with BSP and the collateralized overdraft credit line that will be extended by the BSP. To end this topic, if you do not repay the overdraft in the agreed time, it can affect your credit history and make it harder to get loans or overdraft in future.
Next is emergency loan. Ano nga bang emergency loan? At bakit ino-offer ni BSP ang emergency loan sa mga bangko? From the word emergency, ibig sabihin, kapag ang mga bangko nagdeposito kay BSP ay sobrang nangangailangan na para sa kanilang mga liquidity problems o yung mga utang nila na magjuju na. Kumbaga, ginagrant ni BSP yung mga bangko na nag-deposit sa kanya na mag-emergency loan ng 50%. Hindi na pwede lumagpas doon. For example, si BDO, nag-deposit siya ng 10 million kay BSP. Ngayon, may problema si BDO at kailangan niya mag-emergency loan kay BSP. Ang pwede lang niyang i-loan is 50%, which is 5 million. Ngayon, kapag nag-loan na siya, kailangan niya mag-provide ng collateral. Usually ay yung mga real estate, mga property, ganun. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng bangko ay liquid. Meron din kasi silang mga long-term debts at financial problems.